Okay. All right. Now this video is a message to Precise Presenter. Now, I couldn't help but to mention your name because you mentioned my name in your one of your previous videos about the Holyfield-Pacquaio debate that you and I were supposed to debate on, but we didn't get a chance to because you blocked me before we can actually debate because you didn't like the way I was schooling you in the comments section about the Pavecka situation. I thought I had to throw that jab out there, but it is what it is. You did. Okay. Now, you stated a lot of things in that video that's very, very inaccurate, and I'm going to have to point them out. Okay. There's one thing I appreciate on this boxing community. At one point, the YTBC and the LDBC, by that matter. Okay. First things first. I appreciate everyone's opinion and honest critique on certain situations, on fighters, on purses, on their promoters, whether they should be fighting certain challenges. Yes, I appreciate that. Okay, I welcome anybody's dialogue and their opinion on that. Okay, but what I don't appreciate is slander. Okay, I don't appreciate anyone slandering me, especially if they don't have the facts to back that up. Okay, now before I get into that, you Precise, where you made a video about BoxRec being the best ranking system there is, the best wealth of information, but it has flaws. Okay, you said that BoxRec is correct for ranking Manny Pacquiao at number 4 greatest of all time, which puts him ahead of Ali, Joe Louis, and all those other greats like Henry Armstrong that you discredit, Harry Greb, Ezra Charles, etc., etc. But you also mentioned that you don't know where Evander Holyfield is. Well, I mean, Evander is not far behind from Manny Pacquiao. He's actually number 8. So they have him rated in the top 10 on the all-time greats list. Now, if you ask me, I like Evander very much, but I don't think he's a top 10 great, all-time great. I think he should be at least in the top 20 by that matter, based off his career and his achievements and what he was able to overcome as far as adversity is concerned. But that's just my opinion on that. Okay? But you also said that BoxRec is the best ranking overall system. I have to repeat myself. It's the best system when it comes to ranking and the wealth of database and the information that is being pulled from there. Okay? But you also mentioned it's flawed. You say it's best because Manny Pacquiao is ranked number 4. But then, since you're making that statement, then you need to explain to me that why is Floyd Mayweather ranked the greatest of all time ahead of Manny Pacquiao, which you've said on many occasions that Manny Pacquiao is greater than Floyd Mayweather. So it's either if it's flawed or it's not flawed, okay? Because you can't come up with two different answers about BoxRec, all right? You seem to be adamantly defending BoxRec, but yet you failed to point out the fact that Floyd Mayweather is ranked the greatest of all time ahead of Manny Pacquiao. All right? So I don't understand that kind of answer right there, okay? And you also mentioned that debates don't happen without BoxRec. Well, that's kind of bullshit, if you ask me. Because let me tell you something, all right? I'm Precise. Do you know anything about Harry Greb? No, you don't. All right? And guess who Harry Greb beat? Handed one of the fighters that he beat, which is the only fighter that ever suffered a loss against him, who's regards one of the greatest heavyweights of all time. Do you know who that fighter is? That's Gene Tunney, okay? When Harry Greb and Gene Tunney fought in the first meeting, Harry Greb beat him, all right? Became the only man in history to beat Gene Tunney, all right? But did you know what happened before the fight, Precise, between Gene Tunney and Harry Greb? I'll tell you. Gene Tunney suffered a gash over his left eye one day before the bout, okay? And he claimed that would affected his performance against Harry Greb because Harry Greb was a very awkward fighter who had an amateur style, which could punch you in angles, have very quick hands, and you don't see his punches coming. All right? So that affected his performance against Harry Greb. But BoxRec doesn't display that information. You know how I got that information? It's called research. All right? So I don't need to go to BoxRec and find out records of fighters and who they fought and how they make these fights made. Because BoxRec doesn't display all that type of information. It will display some parts of information, But if you need to look for in-depth details on certain fights, how these fights were being made, why they were being made, I mean, what were the purses between the fights? Yeah, BoxRec can only give you some amount of information, but not to the full extent. So that's why it's called further research. Okay, so I don't rely on BoxRec to get my information. So you are wrong in that area. Wrong. Okay? Now, this whole thing about you and I supposed to debate about Manny Pacquiao and Evander Holyfield, it all stems from the fact that you were the one who's going out and propagating Pacquiao being the greatest fighter of all time. Greater than Ali, which you made a video on, greater than Henry Armstrong. In neither one of those videos, you have not broken down either man's career to try to stack them up against Manny Pacquiao. Instead, you just put out innuendo and conspiracy theories on why Manny Pacquiao should be ranked greater than those two guys. And you've openly admitted that it's impossible to determine a greatness between a heavyweight and a guy who fights at a lower weight class. But if that's the case, if you're going to say that, then why the hell are you ranking Manny Pacquiao above those guys? It doesn't make any sense. You're not making any sense when you make statements like that. Okay? In fact, you've admitted, and I have to say this once and I'll say this again, you admitted that Evander Holyfield is greater than Manny Pacquiao. Now, to my commenters and my subscribers, if you don't believe me, I will post a link to the video where I screenshot that comment when he and I had that firing dialogue about the Povetkin situation on topics we should debate on. Okay? So I called this guy out for the debate. It's funny that he ran from debates from the Boxing Librarian. He ran from who else he ran from? Dilltown. He also ran from D-Block. So, okay, when you run from those guys, you quickly accept my debate. Okay, initially you turned down the debate when I wanted to have a 2-on-2 debate with me and Dilltown versus you and Thunderdome, and Thunderdome didn't respond. So I compromised. I said, okay, we can do 1-on-1. All right. So as I was gathering things, and then when we had that firing exchange, as I initially stated in this video, we had that firing exchange, our last dialogue between us in the comment section, you blocked me because you didn't like what I had to say, which was my opinion about the Povetkin situation. And yet you called me a liar in that debate, in that dialogue, and I didn't appreciate that. Okay? Talk about slander 1-on-1. All right? So now you're going to turn around and say that debates are meaningless, but yet you're the one who's willing to debate me, but then you blocked me before we could debate. Wow. Interesting. Interesting. Okay. And then you went on to attack Fight Critic in one of your latest videos when Fight Critic called you out for being a fanboy of Andre Ward. Okay. Now, I do agree with you on one thing. All right. We all can change our opinions on our favorite fighters over time. That does happen. I've had that with Sugar Ray Leonard. And I've also had that with Oscar De La Hoya to a degree. Okay. So my opinions will change over time when I look at fighters' careers in depth. That happens to everybody. I agree with you on that. But it does not dismiss the fact that you're a fanboy of Manny Pacquiao. Why? It's because you have went out and you have criticized many fighters for ducking fights. Like Floyd Mayweather, we all know infamously. You called out Andre Ward for ducking fights. You called out Guillermo Rigondeaux for ducking fights. And obviously Deontay Wilder. But yet you offer no criticism of Manny Pacquiao for ducking fights. Now, for all the Pacquiao fans up there, I'm not trying to offend you guys, but these are the facts. Manny Pacquiao, as great as he is a great fighter. No question about that. All right? He does have a legacy. I get that. But that doesn't mean he's not immune to a critique on his actual resume and his breakdown of his entire career. Okay? You can't have this double standard where you want to critique other fighters and in their careers, but not and then you want to make Pacquiao exempt from that criticism, from that critique. Okay? Let me tell you something about Manny Pacquiao. Precise. Why didn't you call out Manny Pacquiao for ducking fights with Earl Spence and Keith Thurman when people were calling for him to make those fights with those other welterweights? Huh? Why didn't you call him out for that? Why didn't you call him out for not fighting Amir Khan? In fact, why didn't you call him out when he ducked fights early in his career at flyweight? When Mark Too Sharp Johnson was there calling him out, who was a Hall of Famer, who was one of the best pound-for-pound fighters at that time. Why did Manny Pacquiao avoid a fight with him? Right? Why didn't you call him out? And why didn't you call out Manny Pacquiao for not defending his flyweight title against a top 10 fighter down at that weight class? Huh? Why didn't you call out Manny Pacquiao for ducking Oscar Larios at bantamweight? Why didn't you call out Manny Pacquiao for ducking Juan Guzman when Juan Guzman called him out? Why didn't you call Pacquiao out for ducking Edwin Villaro and Humberto Soto, who was calling him out when people were calling for that fight to be made at lightweight? And why didn't you call out Manny Pacquiao for ducking Nate Campbell and Julio Diaz? You didn't offer no criticism of Pacquiao for ducking those fights, for not fighting those guys. None whatsoever. But yet you want to turn around and criticize other fighters for ducking fights. Yeah, talk about fanboyism, right? Okay, moving along. Okay. So you went on to say that nobody's been able to call you out on your BS, on your bullshit. Really? Well, I've called you out on your bullshit on some occasions. Fight Critic has called you out on your bullshit. Boxing Librarians called you out on your bullshit when you ducked a debate with him. And Dilltown called you out on your bullshit and you ducked debates with him. So, I mean, you know, come on, man. You can't walk in this community as if you're above ground. You're above water. Okay? So you're immune to criticism just like anybody else. So it is what it is. Don't get mad at me. That's just a fact. It is what it is. You've been called out on a lot of stuff. Okay? Like this infamous comment that you made in the video about Manny Pacquiao is the greatest of all time over Muhammad Ali, when you stated, and this is probably one of the worst comments I've ever heard from you. You stated that Manny Pacquiao was chasing the Charlie Burleys of the world throughout his career. I'll say this again. You stated that Manny Pacquiao was chasing the Charlie Burleys in his entire career. Okay, well, exactly. Tell me who were the Charlie Burleys of the world that he was chasing in his career. Tell me who was it? Huh? Oh, Antonio Margarito? Oh, please. First things first, he fought Margarito at a goddamn catchweight. He beat Margarito for a title that he didn't defend. Okay? Don't even say that Antonio Margarito is a Charlie Burley of the world. Yes, he was feared and ducked at welterweight by some welterweights, including Floyd Mayweather, but he is not a Charlie Burley. So let's not get it twisted. All right? And yet you want to say that I'm biased? Really? Really? Well, you didn't say that when I was criticizing fighters that you didn't like. All right? Let me tell you something about me. On my channel, I give a fair critique on certain situations. I'm a fan of the sport before I'm a fan of any fighter. That's the bottom line. If you guys don't like that, then tough shit. I don't mean to curse, but it is what it is. If you're looking for fanboyism, you're not going to get this on my channel. Straight up. I'm on the side of boxing. Period. Okay? You say I'm biased, but yet you constantly slander Guillermo Rigondeaux and Andre Ward when you get a chance to. And Deontay Wilder. You slandered them on many occasions. You never gave Deontay Wilder credit for going to sign up for the fight against Povetkin to go in his backyard to defend his title, where you and others were going out and saying that Wilder was going to duck the fight with Povetkin. He was going to relinquish his title. He wasn't going to go to Russia. Well, he did those things, and you sat your ass on the sidelines and not offer any praise for Wilder for doing what he did. None. You or anybody else who's criticized him, even with the Povetkin situation. Yeah, I understand why you guys are siding with Povetkin, because you have so much contempt and disdain for Wilder. Yeah, it's one thing you can criticize his resume, but it's a fact. When me and the other, channels like Mr. Boxing Today, who've actually made videos about Povetkin before this whole Meldonian case has come about, I hardly saw any comments about Povetkin. Hardly any comments about him. About, when I made videos on who I like to see him fight, or Mr. Boxing Today's made videos about who we like to see Povetkin fight before the Deontay Wilder situation came about, or the Meldonian situation came about, or even Hatman Strikes Back when he's made countless videos about Povetkin in the past. But all of a sudden, out of nowhere, when Povetkin fails a drug test for a banned substance that's been under scrutiny for a while now, you guys are coming out, you, Precise, along with your followers, are coming out in drones and trying to defend the man who's failed a damn drug test for a banned substance. I didn't see this type of defense from you guys with Lucas Brown. Wow. I mean, talk about fanboyism, talk about being biased, whatnot, but please. And yet, again, you did not break down either man's career. You didn't even break down Manny Pacquiao's career in detail, which you're probably afraid to do. But since you're not going to do that, I will. And believe me, that video is coming. And you failed to break down Evander Holyfield's career. By that matter, you failed to break down Muhammad Ali's career in detail and Henry Armstrong's career in detail. You failed to do that. Now, since you're not going to do that, again, I will. I'm going to do it. Okay? Should. And you also said the reason why you won't debate me because you hate losing. I mean, what's that supposed to mean? Does that mean that you didn't have confidence in debating me? Like you didn't have confidence in confidence in yourself to debating guys like the Librarian, D Block, and Dilltown? Right? Is that what you're saying, Precise? And then you went on to say that Evander Holyfield at least used HGH. What do you mean that he at least used HGH? Did he or did he not use HGH? Now, I know you want to refer to the Evan Field situation. Okay, you can refer to that all you want to, but the bottom line is this. Evander has not failed the drug test. If he had failed the drug test, provide some evidence where he did. Oh, that's right, you can't because you blocked me, so you can't provide anything that I can see. So, unless you're going to make a video about that. All right? Now, if you're going to say that, then at least I can say is that, well, you know what? Manny Pacquiao at least took some banned substance under the regimen of Alex Ariza, where Freddie Roach had openly admitted that he finds it suspicious that others, ever since that Ariza has came onto the camp and has been giving him supplements, whatnot, some type of special supplements, aka special shakes, Manny Pacquiao was able to dominate his opponents. He was able to get an increase in power and endurance and speed. Now, when Ariza left that camp, Manny Pacquiao he slowed down. He hasn't been able to knock anybody out ever since, particularly at welterweight. He couldn't even knock out a natural light welterweight, Chris Algieri. Yes, he knocked him down 6 times, but he wasn't able to hurt him to a degree. He wasn't able to knock him out. So, yeah. And you also said I always come down on fighters who get caught for using banned substance. Well, you're totally wrong about that, all right? And the reason why is because whenever a fighter gets caught with a banned substance, I understand that those first drug tests can be very, very inconclusive, okay? That's why we have a B sample. I've said it on many occasions. I even said it with Povetkin. Yes, the Mendelian situation is kind of odd that he fails a drug test a few days away before a championship fight that everyone was looking forward to. I said in my video that, you know what, he is entitled to a B sample. Let's see what the B sample says. But the problem is that B sample won't come in time before the fight before the fight. Okay? But what his manager said, his team hasn't openly admitted that they took the damn drug, but they said they took it last year before it was banned. All right, so be it. But there was a report that came out by Dan Raphael, which you discredit, along with others, who said that Povetkin had passed 3 tests before he failed the 4th one. So that's an indication that he could have taken the drug after the damn 3 tests. Okay? So that's where I offer my harsh criticism of Povetkin and his team for being inconsistent in that situation. All right? Before that, Lucas Brown. When Lucas Brown got popped with Combuterol, I said, you know what? I defended Brown. I said I thought he was set up in that situation. I said, you know what? Let's not condemn the man. Let's see when he submits his B sample. We'll see where it comes back with. Yes, it came back positive. I still believe he was set up, but needless to say, he is responsible for consuming what he puts in his body. Okay, I can accept that argument. But why is it that Povetkin is getting the benefit of the doubt, but not Lucas Brown? You haven't explained that. Why? But anyways, my point is this: Lucien Boutte. I can go on and on and on. Luis Ortiz. When a fighter gets caught with banned substance, I say, you know what? Let's see what the B sample comes back with, and then once the B sample comes back, where the A sample was inconclusive, then okay, they're off the hook. I give every fighter fair treatment on that. So don't sit there and tell me and tell everybody that I immediately condemn fighters for getting caught with PEDs. No, that's not true. All right? Take a look at my videos. They're all up still. All right? And, for those who are saying that I never criticized Antonio Tarver for getting caught with PEDs, well, you're wrong, because I have a video that's still up that I've actually criticized Antonio Tarver for using PEDs when he came out. This was a few months ago when he came out and said that he deserves a title shot, which I criticized him for saying that, given the fact that he failed the second PED test, a drug test. But all right, moving along here. Dude, I don't know, man. You're actually funny. You actually are, but yeah, nobody's calling out your B. You said that nobody's been able to call you out on your BS. Well, I have in this video right here. All right. And going back to this Andre Ward fanboy thing. All right. You can say that you're no longer an Andre Ward fanboy. So be it. I understand that argument. But you need to explain to everyone else, is that why in the world did you say that Andre Ward is much much greater than Gennady Golovkin, and Gennady Golovkin is nowhere on the level of Andre Ward. And then you want to do a complete 360 and say that Gennady Golovkin is greater than Andre Ward, and Ward is not on the level of Golovkin. You haven't explained that. That's hard for you. In fact, you can't even explain that. So contradiction 101. Wow. And then, when you, again, with the back to the vendor's HEH usage and whatnot, you said that he at least took it without any proof that he did take it. But then you went on to say that you have no doubt that Manny Pacquiao, in one of your other videos a while back, you said that you have no doubt that Manny Pacquiao took banned substance. Man, you are something else. Really, you are. You want to sit here and you want to attack me, and you want to attack Fight Critic for supposedly we have a double standard, but yet you feel that you're above everybody else. You feel that you're unbiased, and you're not unbiased. You're a biased guy, like hardcore than anyone else on this platform, and that's a fact. Oh man, oh man, oh man. And you want to talk about that Fight Critic cannot adequately nah, man, let me take that back. Let me take that back. I have nothing left to say about this, man. Like I said, this is my last response to you. I'm not responding to you anymore. But if you want to go ahead and make another video, go ahead. Respond to this if you want to. But other than that, there's nothing else left to be said. And again, and since you failed to break down Evander Holyfield's career, Evander's career, and Manny Pacquiao's career in detail by proving your case that Manny Pacquiao is greater than Evander Holyfield, since you failed to do that, I'm going to do it for you. The video's coming. I'm out.